Okay, shall we start?
Yeah,
Okay, so good afternoon, and my name is Muhammad Khairy Syaheer. Thank you for joining us, Miss Kaiwen. Right. Okay,
yeah.
so I'm 20 years old, and I'm from Pantai Pahang, learning at College Profesional Mara in Mahkota, in Diploma of English Communication. Okay, so
Good evening. My name is Mama Irfan Hakim bin Anuar, and I'm also 20 years old, and I'm currently learning at College Profesional Mara Indera Mahkota and taking diploma in English Communication. The purpose of our interview today is to know more about intercultural communication, which is verbal and non-verbal interaction between other culture.
okay, so Miss
Okay,
Kaiwen, um, can you introduce yourself and a little bit of your background?
okay, I can. Good evening. My name is Go Kaiwen, and I'm 19 years old. Currently, I study in College Matriculasi Pahang, and I'm a Chinese.
Okay. So can you give a little bit of your family background or educational background?
Pardon?
Oh, okay. Can you actually tell us a little bit of your educational background and a little bit of your family background?
Okay, I can. Basically, my family are all the Chinese people, and I study in SMJK, SMJKC Medakap Satu in my primary school, and in my secondary school, I study in SMJK Hualien.
I see. So can we start with the first official question?
Yeah,
Okay, so first
okay.
question is, do you know anything about intercultural communication?
Yes. For me, I think that intercultural communication is like an interact or exchange of opinion or share our view about something between the people from other cultures. Is it?
Yes, actually, intercultural communication is based of two, which is verbal and non-verbal. As for verbal, it's more into your tone or the way you talk about something. And non-verbal is more about your actions and body language. So moving
I
on to the
see.
next
Do you
question.
have any example?
For example, when you look at into an Indian interaction between Indian and Malaysian, you probably see like if you ask them something, they will say okay, but they will
Use a head tilt.
uh, help you to signify that they are
Yeah.
saying okay. But for some Malaysian, they think that help tilt is no. So there's a bit of miscommunication there. All right, so moving on to the next question.
Okay, okay.
Um, as you know, there are many Chinese in Malaysia across the region, and there are also many dialects. So, do you think with this many dialect, will it affect your culture?
Yes, actually, this is a bit affecting. They really got a lot of dialect in Chinese society, like Cantonese, Hakka, Hainan, and Hokkien. And but the most popular dialect in among the Chinese community is Mandarin. In my school, usually I communicate with my friends we using Mandarin, and in my family we also using Mandarin. But for the elders or the older generation, they used to speak a dialect like Cantonese or Hakka. And this actually the young people there is hard to join their conversation because they don't understand the meaning. Hence, it will have a little small cultural gap between the generation. But nowadays we only focus on the Mandarin, so it can easily communicate with the Chinese people. And also we can communicate with the Chinese people from other regions like China or Taiwan, because all of them are using the same like Mandarin.
I see. All right.
That's all.
So on the third question is tone of voice is very important in Chinese language and communication. So can you elaborate or give some examples about the tone of voice?
Yeah, actually, tone of voice is very important in Chinese because each word they got four tone, which is ah, ah. Can you notice the difference?
Yes.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
sometimes long and short.
yeah. And just like the word ma, ma is called ma, right?
Yes.
Yes, and the first tone we call ma. Ma is means mother in Chinese,
Okay.
and the second tone is ma. Ma is like your finger get numb. The meaning is numb.
Oh,
I see.
And the third tone is ma. Ma. Ma means horse. Horse.
okay. Okay, I see.
And the fourth is ma. Ma. Ma is means scolded. You've been scolded by someone. So
Ah,
this four tone actually is made up of the word M and A. So it got four different tone and four different meaning. So it's really important to pronounce in a correct manner. And if you pronounce it like differently, it will lead to different meaning. For example, if you want to call your mother ma and you accidentally call it the third tone ma, it's become hoarse already. So it will lead to a little bit funny lah.
Okay.
okay. So before we move on to the next question, okay. So you say that it's easy to communicate with Chinese from other countries like Taiwan and China, right? Because of the Mandarin. And I also heard that
Yeah,
they have like different, what you call it? Like Malaysian Chinese Mandarin, they have like shortened words and stuff. Like, how do you manage with that? Or do
yeah,
you
yeah,
just use the normal Mandarin?
yeah. Okay. If like actually we can also understand the Chinese people. Maybe they got a bit slang or something, but we will follow the Chinese people, the China people way lah, so they can understand what we say.
I see. Just
Okay, so we move on to the next question. As a Malaysian Chinese, do you have any miscommunication or conflict with your friends from other culture due to verbal or non-verbal interactions with them?
For verbal, actually I like to tell joke, but most of my jokes
oh,
is in Mandarin, and it
uh,
rely on the wordplay and the tone difference. So actually, when we want to translate it into English or Malay, it really lost its meaning, and sometimes my friend they cannot understand it.
I see.
I see. Because like even in Malay, you can like have a jokes that you want to tell your friends, but it translates differently, so it makes the jokes not funny anymore, right?
Yeah. Also English also.
As for non-verbal,
Yeah. Do you have anything?
Mm, for non-verbal, actually no, because I think it's more quite similar.
I see.
okay.
So yes. So for the next question, right? Um. What do you think? The Chinese culture is. Is it like high context or is it a low context culture?
I think it's a high context culture because we are a bit shy. We don't say things like directly. Usually we are indirectly. It's because this idea is influenced by Confucianism. It is a philosophy of Confucius, and this Confucius is like it prioritizes the harmony one,
I see.
and it yeah. So basically, if we like we don't agree with some people idea, we don't directly say no. We just say, oh, maybe you can change your way to this, or maybe you can try to figure out another way, just like this.
I see. Okay, so like you see, it is a high context. Um, okay, so I've read it somewhere that sustaining direct eye contact, especially with elderly, is considered disrespectful in your culture. So, do you have any misunderstanding due to this? Like, oh, she did not want to make eye contact with me, so she probably does not like me or something.
Okay, this maybe will have misunderstanding of other culture because in my culture, we really don't make long eye contact with other people. Usually, we just make a brief eye contact because we think it's polite. When some people stare at you so long and you didn't know each other well, it seems rude in our culture lah. Yeah.
I see. Okay, so for the next question, right, is more about the gesture that we've seen a lot in social media. Like, for example, someone is pouring you tea and then like tapping the table have some sort of meaning. Even till now, I still don't understand the meaning of that gesture. So like, that does it what does it mean, and does it really actually have any important note to it?
Okay. Usually you only see this in social media, right? Because it is a old generation, or we can say a traditional way in the tea ceremony. Because in this new generation, we seldom drink the teas. And when in the tea ceremony, when someone is pouring the tea to you and you want to appreciate your thanks, you want to express your gratitude to the person who served the drink, you can nod your finger using your index and middle finger. You just like this 2 times
Ah,
to express your thanks. Because why they want to nod it as an appreciation? Because they don't want to interrupt the conversation. Yeah, they don't want to interrupt, so they just use the gesture. But normally in today young people they don't follow this lah. They just say thank you instead.
I see. So before we move on to the next question, um, like, do you have any other example of gesture that Chinese people use that most Malaysian don't know or something?
Hmm, let me think about it.
Okay, because I noticed that there are like Chinese people use like what do you call it, a high content, that they have like they're not use words a lot, so they use a lot of non-verbal and even indirectly telling someone to do something. So I think that we there's more gesture like to know something or to do something.
Hmm, maybe when we don't say thank you, but we just bow our head, just like we just nod it.
I see. So like
Yeah,
maybe if you like say usually say thank you, but then you just bow your head. If other
yeah.
cultures say, it's probably like if they don't notice it, they probably say like you as rude or something, right? If like
Oh,
miscommunication or something. I
and also
see.
when our friend come across to us, we instead we just raise our hand and say hi, and we can just pay our smile to them like just like
I
this.
see. I see. I
Yeah,
see that
yeah.
a lot. We even among my Chinese friends as well. They don't really like
Yeah,
say out loud. They just like it's what you call it. Just like a very small gesture of saying hello
yeah,
and
yeah.
yes.
But actually, we are friendly lah. We just shy.
I see.
Okay, I see.
Okay, so this next question. So we are Malaysian, and so how do interaction between different groups in Malaysia influence your personal relationship and your community involvement?
I think Malaysia is a multicultural, and it's good because we can experience a different culture. For me, I'm living with my neighbors, they got Indians, they got Malay. So when there are a special occasion or something culture, we will go to their house for open house, and I can experience the traditional food, costume, or any other from them. And it's actually promote the tolerance, and we can have a better understanding between cultures.
So, do you have anything to add to that, or do you want to move on to the next question?
I think we move on to the next question. So, for my next question is, growing up in a Malay-dominated school, how do you think it will affect your language barrier, as in communicating with your friends or teachers?
Okay,
For ex-
thanks to Malaysian. Okay, you continue.
for example, when you first enter primary school, and then um, how do you make friends with other cultures?
Okay, thanks to Malaysia education system, even though I speak Mandarin in my family and with my friends, but we learn Malay and English since we are in kindergarten or primary school. So actually, there is no language barrier between others' culture, and I can speak the Malay and English fluently with my classmate and teacher. And but sometimes I will struggle with the abbreviation or slang between them.
I see, I
So
see.
in this case, I will just Google Translate it or ask them directly. And
Mm.
there's also in Malay, there is also like different words. Like in Pahang, they got OAK. Oh is what?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do you have any other example of like words or phrases that you don't understand or something um that were like you have a hard time when you were like surrounded by your classmate or friends?
Yeah, I really got through the testing because we are not common use with the Malay testing. So every time the testing, I really need to ask my roommate.
Oh yeah, the what call it? The short
Yeah,
answer.
the shortened word.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know because like we sometimes have like words that we just literally just throw out the vowels and only have like the what you call it? The
yeah.
consonant. I see, like because like some of my
It
friends
just
also don't
simply,
understand it.
yeah.
I see. So move on to the next question, right? Okay. So you grew up in a sekolah kebangsaan, or is it sekolah Chinese school something, right?
Yeah.
Um, okay. So does it have any influence or have an impact on your relationship with your relative? For example, when you are with your cousins, yeah, family, you use like phrases that are rarely used among Chinese, like you use the phrases that you learn from your friends, from different cultures. Yeah, something like that.
Actually, no, because all of them are under the same education system.
I
So
see.
most of them we can speak through language. Like Mandarin, Malay, English, we all can speak well and understand well. And we can share our experience, like, oh, I can't understand the Malay word like that. This experience with them, and they will share their experience to us. So it's actually strengthen my family bond.
Okay, so it's like you have like some common experience that you can share with each
Yeah.
other. I see. So like, do you ever like use the phrase that for example, right? Um, I have a teacher, a Chinese teacher when I was in high school. She always use like Allah Akbar or Alhamdulillah, something like that. So do you ever like use such a phrase whenever you like accidentally or when talking to others?
Oh, this got a bit lah. Just like you
I
will try to like mimic their action or something.
I see. So it definitely have like an influence to you lah, like using like for example words that you usually don't usually use, but sometimes like
Yeah,
just came out.
yeah, because just like when we communicate with the Malay and I know the meaning, so I will just say to him lah, just
I
like
see.
inshallah
Ah,
Yes.
so I can best like join with them join in their conversation.
I see. All right. So that's all for our interview and thank you for taking part in this interview.
Okay, thanks you all too.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, welcome.
Bye.
Bye.